Okay, so I am going to cook some spaghetti today, and this is a dish a lot of people like, so I'm kind of cooking the dishes that a lot of people like. First, let me show you what the ingredients are. There are a lot. So I got here some ground beef. This is like 1 pound of ground beef. Keep that in the refrigerator. I got, what else do I got? I got an onion. This is a large yellow onion. I got a couple of romaine tomatoes. We will need some garlic. And as far as the rest of the ingredients, I like to make my own sauce, so I'm going to use Kirkland's tomato sauce. You could also use any kind of tomato sauce in a can, doesn't matter what kind. And then I also like to use tomato paste. This thickens up the sauce, makes it sweet too. So this is key, you need these. What else do I need? That's the sauce. Sometimes you could get like, you could get this and not use the sauce, but it doesn't matter. You could still use tomato sauce, or you could use the spaghetti sauce like this. This is really popular for the Filipino spaghetti, which I've never got this, but this was left over at a party I had. So I think I might try this and see how it turns out. You could get Prego too, any sauce, but I like to start from scratch usually. What else do I have? As far as spices, I got a lot of spices. So I got some chopped onions. These are, I know I have onions here, but I like to add also the granulated onions that come in this container. Garlic powder. I like to use pepper. Definitely have to have the bay leaves for the spaghetti. I got some chili oil. This is sesame chili oil, and you've seen me use this before. This is the Layu chili oil, and also the hot chili oil, which has like the flakes. These don't have flakes in them, they're just liquid, but this has like liquid flakes, which makes it a little chili. So here's the chilies, and of course some honey, and I also use bay leaf, Old Bay, excuse me. You see me use that, it's one of my favorite. Paprika, chili powder, and rosemary. So that's all the ingredients I use. It's a lot there, but that's what it takes to make the spaghetti the way I want to. So this video is going to be in 3 parts because I guess I want to show you how I make it, so you can either follow along. But a lot of it is also the prep. The prep work, I usually skip those in my videos, but this time I'm going to show you how I cut up some vegetables. Because a lot of people, they just, they cut it up. I'm going to zoom in there a little bit. Zoom in here. There you go, that's pretty good. Okay, wipe down the blade here. When I'm cutting vegetables, I like to put like a moist towel underneath, so when you put your cutting board on it, it doesn't really slide as much. If you put it against the table, this cutting board can slide. So with that little towel underneath, it's pretty stable. First, I'm going to chop up my onions. I'm going to show you how I chop them. I like using this kind of blade because it gives you a lot of liberty to kind of cut. These are very sharp too. It's like a cleaver kind of knife. So first thing I do is I line up this bulb here and I just cut it in half. Okay, and I learned this technique through a guy that I know named Albert Yang, and he has his own channel too. He doesn't post videos as much as he used to, but he showed me how to cut onions this way. I've never changed since I learned. So first thing is you cut it in half. So now you have the root and this end here. You just chop off that end. So you get kind of like that. Then what I like to do is I like to peel off that last layer that's on it. See, right now the last layer is actually this very thin layer here. That's the last layer. I'm going to go an extra layer deep. I'm just going to take all that off. You could probably cook this part, but there. So that's, and I'll go ahead and throw that away. Probably a waste a little bit, but it's okay. I just want to go quick. Then I do the same thing with the second half. I cut that end, and I'll remove the top layer. So this way, there we go. That's better. So now I have two halves. Clean that off there. Oh, if you're wondering what this V is there, that's for vegetables or fruit, and then M is for meat. I like to cut each different types of food differently. There's some little things here. I'm going to wash that off. Okay, so here's my special way of chopping onions, and I'm going to chop these basically diced, like, you know, 1/4 inch. But here's how I like to do it. So I'll lay this side flat here, and I'm going to start cutting the onion in this direction like this. But when I cut, I'm not going to cut all the way through. I'm going to leave like a little nub at the top, and you'll see me do it. So the first cut like this. See how I'm leaving that little piece there? I go through, I cut another, you know, 1/8 of the way through, leaving that on, and I'll keep going. See that? All the way through, but not all the way through, just kind of leaving it at the top. Now what this is doing is that I'm chopping the onion, but leaving the entire thing intact. Like, this thing still moves around as one, right? I've already chopped it all the way through, but it's still being held together by this end. You see? So now I can just turn it to the side like this and start chopping from this end going to the back. So now I'll just go like this. And you can see here the onions are completely evenly cut. You know, like little dice. That's exactly how I wanted it. And it's in layers. So you just pour that in there. And that's the quick and easy way of cutting onions without the mess. Also, it doesn't give you as much frying power because all the juices are kind of not spraying around when you cut it. And I like to just cut the last two there, and then for the last parts, just kind of finish it off like this. And then I like to cut that last part here, and then that's all you're left with. So there's not a lot of mess there. You know, just wanted to show you guys how I cut onions. And I think, you know, it's a fast way to do it. So I'm going to show you the speed at which I do it normally. So I'll just go half. And this is about how fast I usually do it in the kitchen. Just like this. And then. And it gets stuck there, so just kind of take that off. Bam. And then. And when it's near the end like that, I like to turn it over onto this side because you could just cut off the rest there. And it kind of falls apart. And then from this point, just kind of ends like this. And here. And voila. You got a whole onion chopped with not much mess. And it's quick and easy. And everything's also even. So that's important because when you have the same size vegetables, that we're going to saute this, by the way, it's going to cook more evenly, therefore the flavors will coalesce more evenly and so forth. So that's onions. Another reason why I'm showing you prep is because I have a certain way I also like to cut garlic out of their cloves. You know, garlic's pretty easy. Everybody knows how to clove, and I'll just show you how I do it because, again, it kind of comes into play with this cleaver. Because of this big surface area, I smash them, and you'll see me do that. So go ahead and grab a clove. So far I used 1 whole onion. I'll show you how much garlic I use. I kind of use quite a bit. So get a clove. Okay, here's a clove. So The way I like to do my garlic is I'll just cut off that nub right here. I'll cut that part off first. And then I'll leave the skin on and I'll just smash it once. And then the skin's really easy to take off at that point, right? And then I'll go ahead and give this a few chops. And then I'll put it near the edge of the board here. I'll give it another smash. And that's like really minced right there. And that's how I do it. Again, this technique, I didn't do it so well, but I learned this from, again, my friend Albert. And he's quite the chef in his kitchen. So that's how I do garlic. You know, I'll just chop off the piece there, smash it in there, take off the edges. That's already skinless. Chop it up a little bit, pile it up. One more final smash, and that's minced. I try to look for pieces that don't look that fresh, or what is that? Yeah, that's kind of skinned there. So, yeah. So that's how I do garlic. I do maybe 8 medium-sized clove pieces. That's a lot, but that'll be enough for this dish. So I just did 2. Here's some more here. All right, so line it up, out. There we go. This side has its leftover here. Okay. And then one final smash. Yeah. Garlic, very important in my spaghetti. I will also use granulated garlic powder to add to the flavor of the sauce. Okay. This garlic is a little old, so it's kind of it's not flaking the way I want it to off of the smash. It's kind of getting stuck together here, so yeah, it's slightly, maybe a couple days old garlic than it should be, but it's okay. It'll be fine. And then there's some skin here. It's out of there. And that liquid is really coming out of that garlic when you smash it too. Your fingers get really sticky. But look at that. There's the garlic. Let's see. I think I did like 4. Do 4 more. There you go. Actually, these are probably more fresher here. Look at these. Of all the vegetables to chop in the kitchen, I really don't like garlic. It's sometimes hard to work with because of this reason here, like the skin. But it's a wonderful tasting. What do you call it? Aromatic is the word I was looking for. You know, onions, garlic, all important in Filipino dishes, especially the spaghetti here. Now this spaghetti is really just I mean, like when you cook spaghetti, you know, what's in there? It's garlic, it's onions, ground beef, you know, tomato sauce, and that's it, right? And you throw maybe the little pepper and bay leaf, and that's the one. But I always add a lot to it. Oh, the one ingredient also that I'm forgetting to show you guys is Parmesan cheese. And usually you put Parmesan cheese at the end of it, like when the spaghetti is cooked. Not me. I actually cook it Parmesan cheese in the sauce, and you'll see that later. But forgot to show you that that's another ingredient you'll need. So this amount of food, I think it'll feed like maybe 8 people in one sitting. I think that's about right. So I'm probably gonna make this and then have it in my meal plan this week. Just on the side, not like too much, because I don't really eat spaghetti. I mean, I'm trying to lose weight. And you could eat spaghetti and still lose weight, but when I make this stuff, I tend to kind of eat a little bit too much of it because it tastes pretty good. Okay, so I think we're almost done with the garlic. Is that enough? A little bit more maybe. Yeah, here we go. Last piece. Okay. There. A good chef or a good food prepper would go fast. I'm not really that great, I'll be honest, but it's okay. Okay. There. Yeah. Is that good enough? Yeah, that's decent. Well, one more. Why not? So this pretty much was just the preparation part. It's basically just the chopping of the garlics and the onions. And oh yeah, I'm gonna chop up my tomatoes too. Now you're asking, why have tomatoes? You've already have tomato sauce and tomato paste. Why add real tomatoes? Well, I think it adds texture to the sauce. You'll see me, I'm not really washing down the utensils here. We'll just cut it straight because it's vegetable. And I'll also dice these as well into small cubes. I need to sharpen this knife. Tell it's not really cutting as well as I want it to. I think I will use a different knife. I'll use this. Okay. So yeah, the tomatoes I think add just a little bit more texture to the sauce. It gives it a more, you know, it's more to chew on as far as vegetables. I don't know how else to say it, but I like to put tomatoes, real tomatoes, in my tomato sauce. So these are romaines. You could use any tomato. Go. Here. Here. So almost the same size as the onions, these tomatoes. Here. So that's about it there. Just gotta take out that little pit of stem there from the tomato. There. You know, I don't really enjoy chopping. I never really enjoyed food, like preparing vegetables in dishes. I actually really don't like it. But if you don't do it, your dish will never be made, especially, you know, single, I live alone, who's going to make food? I mean, I can go buy food, but hey man, if you want to make something, if you want something, you got to put in the work to have it. So I don't mind vegetable chopping, even though I hate it. Because I know the ultimate goal is to have good food, good tasting food, and that's part of the price. Okay, so that concludes my chopping up. So I got the onions, garlic, tomatoes, and I am going to end it here, this first part of the video, and then I'll show you the next part, which will be making the sauce. All right. Oh yeah, one more thing. As far as the noodles are concerned, in this time I'm going to use angel hair pasta. It's a thinner. It takes less time to cook. It's also it gives it more of a pasta feel than more spaghetti. But usually I use this one, which you could get at Costco. You can use any spaghetti, really. But Costco, I'm a big fan of it, as you guys probably know. And they have this one here, the Garofalo. organic spaghetti, and this is really good stuff. But this is thinner, and I like this stuff too. So I'm gonna try it with this stuff. So anyway, just wanted to show you that, and I'll show you how I do the boiling of this stuff. It's actually pretty straightforward. If you guys know how to cook pasta, it's pretty easy. All right, that concludes this video, this first part. See you on the next one. Bye.